Ladies and gentlemen, this is my first time standing here in front of you, delivering an opening address to the Budapest Forum. It's a joy and an honor that we have managed to create something that is becoming the charming tradition, together with our partners, and thank you for your interest and participation. This is all great, but why are we here? A central theme to our discussion so far has been the question of the survival of democracy, a time when authoritarian populism is on the rise and core democratic values are declining. In this context, we have gathered to discuss these issues in a large multicultural city, one of many such cities often described as one of the last strongholds of the liberal democracy. There are powerful metaphors that come to mind when thinking about this role our cities seem to play. One is that of an island surrounded by sea. Other is that of a castle under siege. Indeed, cities have been the targets of sieges over many centuries. Now, especially in countries led by authoritarian populists, cities with a progressive leadership have every reason to feel attacked. Only the catapults and ladders have been replaced by legal and financial measures by the government. Events like the Budapest Forum are also a celebration of the fact that such cities find ways to resist these attacks. This is all true and very important. But now, I would like to invite us to think in a different way. I would like to move beyond the image of an island of democratic values in a sea of madness. If this is how we understand ourselves, we are playing the role assigned to us by populist playbook. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is facing a dual crisis now, a looming climate disaster and a decline in the belief that every person is equally important. These issues are connected due to the rise of authoritarian populism. Populism attacks various real and imaginary targets, those who support universal human values, liberal democracy, immigrants, and minorities. It also attacks climate science, lifestyle choices like being vegetarian, and sustainable transportation like cycling. The European Union has an ambitious plan for a long-awaited green transition, but a large-scale transition will cause difficulties for certain social groups. Populists are already looking at these groups, and if the transition causes a lot of frustration, populists may be able to stop it. We might not get another chance. This problem isn't just for a few of us within the progressive bubble. It's a huge crisis which might end up as a global disaster. We must connect with people outside our own group to avoid this catastrophe. We don't have a monopoly on morality, but as emphasized by moral psychologist Jonathan Haidt, morality is mainly a gut feeling before it becomes a fruitful discussion. Authoritarian populism also uses moral instincts. Let's not see the followers of populism as the enemy. Instead, let us understand their moral intentions and engage with their concerns. Saving the planet and keeping up a social order which we treat each other with dignity and respect does not only concern urban progressives. It is perfectly understandable and the practical moral stance that has the potential to unite us all. But to achieve this, we must engage in dialogue and interaction beyond our comfortable circles. In order to do that, we must resist hatred and polarization. And we must also fight shallowness. We are now living in a world in which social media has reduced our attention span to seconds and reduced our interaction to likes or dislikes. In the meantime, we constantly seek the approval of those we are in contact with. And one way to avoid the disapproval is to remove those who disagree with us from our circles. Authoritarian populism thrives in such an environment. It is crucially dependent on avoiding meaningful dialogues and deeper interaction involving multiple perspectives. Living in cities causes us to diverse people with different backgrounds and beliefs. In the well-kept city, we often can't avoid encountering those who are different from us. When we recognize them as individuals with feelings and thoughts that matter, it can help us feel less alone. Having conversation where we disagree but don't treat each other as enemies may be a way to make things better and make sure our society continues to exist. It might sound banal or even naive, but I'm convinced that is essential. I don't know how it will happen, against all odds, but I know that it must. I wonder how cities, Budapest included, can help it make happen even outside their borders. Dear friends, in the past, cities surrendered themselves with wars to protect their values. Today, we can protect our values by pulling down walls and building bridges instead. As Pope Francis said, Budapest is a city of the bridges. It's precisely these bridges that made it possible to create Budapest 150 years ago by uniting the cities on the two banks of the Danube. We don't want to become islands. Let's build bridges instead. Thank you for your attention.